K-pop is a global phenomenon, but let's be real, a huge part of its DNA comes straight from Black culture. From the way idols sing, rap, and dance to the very foundations of the genre itself, K-pop would not exist as we know it today without Black influence. The problem: a lot of fans and even some idols refuse to acknowledge that influence. Instead, K-pop is often marketed as something entirely Korean, even when half of what makes it popular are R&B style vocals, hip-hop production, breakdancing, and streetwear comes from Black artists. So, let's break it all down. Where exactly does Black culture show up in K-pop? And why is it so often overlooked? K-pop's origins are often credited to Seo Taiji and Boy's 1990 debut, but what's rarely acknowledged is how deeply their sound and, by extension, the entire K-pop industry is rooted in Black music. Long before the Hallyu Wave, South Korea was introduced to jazz, R&B, and hip-hop through American military bases, where Black soldiers stationed in the country brought their music with them. Korean artists in the 80s and 90s were already experimenting with Black musical influences, pulling from the soulful melodies of Motown, the rhythmic complexity of funk, and the smooth harmonies of New Jack Swing. By the time Seo Taiji and Boys introduced their fusion of hip-hop and dance music, the groundwork had already been laid. K-pop was, at its core, an adaptation of Black musical styles. Nonoreo, the group's breakout hit, was heavily inspired by New Jack Swing, a genre pioneered by Black artists like Teddy Riley and Bobby Brown. The song's use of hip-hop beats, groove-heavy instrumentation, and layered harmonies was revolutionary for Korean music at the time, but it was fundamentally borrowing from Black American music. Today, K-pop remains heavily indebted to Black music, particularly R&B. Groups like EXO, Red Velvet, have entire discographies built on smooth, falsetto-heavy harmonies and syncopated beats that wouldn't be out of place on a Boyz II Men or TLC album. The vocal techniques used by many K-pop singers' runs, riffs, and vibrato-heavy delivery are directly inspired by gospel and soul traditions pioneered by Black artists. Even soloists like IU, Taeyeon, and Baekhyun craft their vocal styles around the emotional depth and fluidity of R&B, often drawing comparisons to Western artists like Mariah Carey and Usher. Meanwhile, producers behind the scenes, many of whom are Black, continue shaping the K-pop sound without much recognition. Figures like Dem Joints, Rodney Jerkins, and Harvey Mason Jr. have crafted some of the biggest K-pop hits, yet their contributions are rarely acknowledged in the same way that Korean producers are celebrated. In many ways, K-pop's very identity is inseparable from the Black music that influenced it, yet the industry often sidesteps giving proper credit where it's due. Hip-hop is one of the most dominant forces in K-pop today, but let's be real, it didn't originate in Korea. The genre was born in the Bronx, New York, in the 1970s, pioneered by Black and Latinx communities as a form of artistic expression, social commentary, and resistance. In K-pop, however, hip-hop is often reduced to an aesthetic, a way for idols to seem edgy, rebellious, or cool. Ever since Seo Taiji and Boys incorporated rap into their music, K-pop has treated hip-hop as a must-have element, whether the artists have real connections to the culture or not. The result: every K-pop group now has a mandatory rap line, even when the rappers in question aren't actually skilled in the craft. Instead of using rap as a form of storytelling like Black artists do, K-pop tends to use it as a break between vocal parts, making it feel like an afterthought rather than an integral part of the music. Groups like BTS, Stray Kids, and ATEEZ have rappers who put in the work to refine their skills, but there are plenty of groups where rap feels like it was added just to check a box. The issue: K-pop treats hip-hop as a trend rather than a lived experience. While Black artists rap about systemic oppression, many K-pop idols adopt hip-hop for the badass image, sometimes without truly understanding where it comes from. K-pop's sharp, synchronized choreography wouldn't exist without Black street dance. Breaking, popping, locking, and crumping, all pioneered by Black dancers, are core elements of idol performances. Early groups like HOT and Sex Keys incorporated hip-hop moves, but TVXQ, SHINee, and Big Bang set the standard for modern K-pop dance. Yet, while idols are praised for their genius choreography, Black dancers rarely get credit for the styles they created. Many of K-pop's biggest choreographies are crafted by Black dancers like John D. Moning and Sean Bankhead, yet fans often assume the industry is innovating something new. Even top Korean dance crews like Just Dirk and 1MILLION are deeply influenced by Black street dance. K-pop constantly pulls from Michael Jackson's popping and isolations, but he and other Black artists are rarely acknowledged. K-pop's dance culture thrives on Black creativity, yet it doesn't always give back. K-pop's fashion has been heavily influenced by Black streetwear, but the industry rarely acknowledges its roots. Baggy jeans, oversized hoodies, snapbacks, grills, chains — these were staples of Black hip-hop culture long before they became trendy in K-pop. Artists like Tupac, Aaliyah, and Missy Elliott set the blueprint for street fashion, but K-pop repackages these looks as concepts without recognizing their cultural significance. Idols wear these styles to seem edgy or rebellious, while Black people still face discrimination for wearing them in real life. Worse, K-pop often crosses into cultural appropriation by treating Black hairstyles, cornrows, braids, locks, and durags as costumes rather than cultural symbols. Various idols have been called out for wearing these styles without understanding their meaning. Black culture isn't an aesthetic, but K-pop often treats it like one. The industry profits off Black fashion while ignoring the struggles Black people face for embracing their own culture. Even to the point that Black K-pop fans often face racism from fellow fans, being called obsessed with Black issues when they point out cultural appropriation. You can't love K-pop without recognizing where it comes from. K-pop's entire foundation — vocals, rap, dance, fashion — is built on Black artistry. Instead of treating Black culture as an aesthetic, the industry and fans need to start acknowledging and respecting the people behind it.